I've seen so many people dive into cheap ultra-wide monitors and end up regretting the blurry colors or laggy refresh. And that's why I'm extra cautious before I recommend something. The LG Ultrafine evo 40-inch curved display feels like a different animal, but you still have to ask yourself if it's worth the price tag. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you first unbox the set, the most obvious thing is the sheer size. A 40-inch screen wrapped around you with a gentle curve turns a normal desk into a command center. I set mine up next to a standing desk for my freelance video editing work, and the extra horizontal real estate meant I could keep the timeline, preview window, and effects panel all visible at once without constantly swapping tabs. That kind of workflow boost is hard to quantify, but it feels like you've added a whole extra monitor without buying a second unit. Color accuracy is a big selling point for anyone who works with footage or photography. LG's Nano IPS Black panel pushes deep, true-to-life blacks while still delivering the wide color gamut you expect from a high-end display. In practice, when I graded a short documentary clip, the skin tones stayed consistent across the whole screen, and the contrast held up even in the darkest shadows. For a creator who can't afford to miss a subtle hue shift, that level of fidelity is a real productivity saver. The 120 Hz refresh rate isn't just a marketing number, it changes how the monitor behaves during fast-moving tasks. I tried a couple of FPS titles on the same machine, and the motion felt buttery smooth, no tearing, no ghosting. The same fluidity translated to scrolling through massive spreadsheets or timelines. Because the monitor also supports DisplayHDR 600, bright highlights pop without washing out, which is useful when you're grading HDR footage and need to see the exact peak luminance. Connectivity is where the Ultrafine evo tries to be a hub, not just a screen. Thunderbolt 5 lets you plug a laptop and get video, data, and up to 100 W of power through a single cable. In my home office I connect the laptop, an external SSD, and a USB-C dock all through that one port, which clears the desk of a tangle of cords. HDMI 2.1 and DisplayPort 2.1 give you flexibility for older rigs or gaming consoles, but the downside is you'll need adapters if you still run anything on legacy DisplayPort 1.2. It's not a deal breaker, just an extra step. Built-in speakers are a nice convenience, especially for quick video calls or watching a tutorial while you work. They are definitely not a replacement for dedicated studio monitors, but the sound is clear enough that you don't have to reach for headphones every time a notification pops up. If you're a gamer who expects cinematic audio, you'll probably want a separate sound system, but for everyday multitasking the speakers do the job without adding clutter to the desk. One practical consideration that trips people up is the footprint. The stand is adjustable, but the base is wide to support the curve, so you need a desk that can handle at least a 35-inch depth and a solid weight capacity. I had to reinforce my tabletop slightly because the monitor tips the scales at over 20 pounds. If you're in a small apartment or sharing a workspace, that size could be a limiting factor. Also, the price point sits well above the mid-range ultra-wides, so you have to be comfortable spending that much for the combination of color fidelity, refresh rate, and connectivity. Who should buy this? If you're a video editor, graphic designer, or developer who lives in a world of multiple windows, the extra width and accurate colors will shave minutes off every project. It also makes sense for serious gamers who want high frame rates without sacrificing HDR detail. On the other hand, if you're mainly checking email, streaming Netflix on a couch, or you're on a tight budget, a more modest 27-inch 1440p monitor will cover your needs without the hefty price tag and desk space demand. Who should skip it? Anyone who expects a high-end audio experience straight out of the box will be disappointed. Those speakers are functional, not audiophile grade. If you're still using an older laptop that can't output a 5K 2K signal, you'll need an external GPU or a newer device to unlock the monitor's full potential, which adds extra cost. And if you're prone to moving your workstation around weekly, The size and weight make this a semi-permanent installation. In my everyday usage, the monitor has become more of a partner than a peripheral. The curve keeps my eyes from hunting across a flat plane, the HDR and high refresh smooth out both work and play, and the Thunderbolt hub cuts down on cable chaos. The few trade-off: size, price, modest speakers are clearly defined, so you can decide if they matter to you before you buy.